Traders, how are you? Marcello here, founder of the Day Trading Academy, co-founder of Speedup Trader, where you guys can come and apply to use our money live. Process as low as $120 to trade accounts up to $25,000 in buying power. Today, we're going to be talking about learning how to trade for beginners. Great question from Shrikant. Shrikant. Let me know when you're from, my man. That's definitely not an American name. Well, obviously it could be, but let me know where your family's from. So I think this is a great question because I think there's a lot of information out on the internet. So I'm going to try to kind of organize the information so you guys can kind of learn or go in the right direction, okay? Don't forget to subscribe here to the channel. Don't forget, you can leave all your questions with hashtag AskMarcello. I'll be happy to go ahead and answer all your questions for you. I've done it on the Spanish side for quite a few years now, and it's worked out great. So if you guys have questions, let me know. Shrikant, the question is...
Thank you for all informative videos. I have learned a lot from your channel. I have recently applied for the Speedup Trader. My question is, how a beginner's approach should be towards trading? Should he begin with only one instrument, for example, E-mini, S&P, or should it be 2-3 different instruments under his watch list?
Okay, so I'm going to try, so one of the things I always try to do, Shrikant, especially with a lot of these videos, is I always try to make sure that I give you information that isn't biased, right? So just full disclosure, there's a million different ways how to trade. There isn't necessarily one right way. There's a million different markets as well, a million different indicators, okay? So it's up to you to, to kind of choose. So I'm going to give you what my opinion is. I have now almost 18 years of experience in this industry, whether it's learning how to trade or teaching people how to trade or actually trading. And now, obviously, for those of you guys that don't know, we have Speedup Trader where you guys can literally come and apply to use our money. So now you don't have to pay thousands of dollars for a platform. You don't have to have thousands of dollars to trade with. If you guys, right now, we only support futures. In the future, we're going to support Forex, CFDs, options, and also stocks. The idea is that you guys can come for a process of just $120, come and literally trade our money, right? So Shrikant, the first thing that you have to do is there was a study that was done at Harvard. If you guys know, Harvard is one of the best or the best university year after year after year after year. You guys can Google. I just Googled it today. It was number 3 for 2019. But they did a study, some ladies with doctorates and fancy PhDs, they did a study for over 50 years. And basically the study was to find out if people can actually multitask. It's that simple. So the idea is, are we able to do two things at once? What they were able to find, and if you guys want to find this study, it's on Harvard's magazine. Look on Google. I just found it. Harvard Business Review, 40% multitasking, and you guys will be able to find it. And essentially what the study proved over many years and over many people is that when we humans try to do two things at once, we literally, the productivity, the efficiency drops by 40%. It's that simple, right? So if we're going to learn how to do something new, the goal first is going to have to be that we simplify the process as much as possible. Because if we convolute the process or we make it a lot more difficult, then it's going to be a lot harder to learn. This is part of the reason, in my humble opinion, why most traders take so long to be able to learn how to trade, because they complicate the process. We want it to be fancy, like the indicators and you've seen the pictures, right? Like the 20 billion charts and stuff like that. And that might work for hedge fund managers that are managing billions of dollars and have 40 years of experience. But for us, retail day traders that are going to open up an account for just like $500 or $1,000, you guys are going to come to apply at Speedup for $120, and you're just going to trade an account for like 25 or 50K. That doesn't work. So what we have to do first and foremost, Shrikant, is simplify the process. So directly to your question in regards to trading 2 or 3 instruments at the same time, the first kind of question that this opens up is, well, what market should I learn on? Because we have stocks, we have Forex, we have cryptos now, CFDs, which are illegal for you guys in the US. We have binary options, which is the biggest scam on the planet. Never, ever, ever trade binary options, please. And then we also have a missing one, stocks, options, futures. Okay? Futures and options. So I'll repeat those. Stocks, futures, options, stocks, crypto, CFDs, Forex, binary options. Those are all the options that you guys have. So first and foremost, if we're going to trade, now let's think about this 40% thing, right? So if we're going to automatically pay attention to two things at once, it's going to automatically drop our productivity and our efficiency by 40%. So when I go to think about the different markets that we're going to trade, if we think about trading stocks, for example, first of all, there's some limitations to that because one, there's something called the PDT rule, which is the pattern day trading rule, which means you need to have a minimum of $25,000 in your account to be able to trade with. I don't know about you guys, but I don't have $25,000. At least I didn't have $25,000 when I learned how to trade, and most of you guys probably don't either, right? So that's the first thing. Also in stocks, there's a situation where there's a lot of homework. Like you have to go in, you have to screen the stocks. You can't trade the same stock every day, and then you have to pay attention to like 8 different stocks, Apple and Facebook and Tesla and all these other ones. But you can't trade the same one every day because they might not move that day. So 40%. See what I'm saying? So then we have Forex, which is probably the biggest overall market in the world, $5.7 trillion. And that's the same situation. You can't trade the same market every day. Most people don't. You have to trade 8 or 9 different markets at the same time. You have the Euro USD, the USD Yen dollar, won, which isn't fully convertible yet, but you guys get my drift, right? So 40%. So in my opinion, Shrikant, if you're going to automatically start paying attention to 2 different markets at the same time, you're literally already affecting yourself because you're multitasking. And so what the problem is that most people do is that they'll pay attention to minimum 2 markets. Let's say, for example, you're trading stocks. You have 8 different stocks that you pay attention to. Well, that's already 8 things. Imagine 2 things is 40% because they did this study at Harvard that proves when you do more than 2 things at once, you're literally going to go down in productivity and effectiveness by 40%. So you have 8 different stocks, that already 40% with 2. And then on top of that, you have a chart with 8 different charts and then 20 different indicators. And then you see what I mean, Shrikant? In my humble opinion, this is the reason why most people take so long to be able to learn how to trade. Because they're doing too many things at once. Your mind isn't built to process so much information in the very beginning. The best example I can give you is when we learn how to do math in elementary school or secondary, in the US they call it middle school or high school, middle school, right? Well, we can go back to elementary school if you guys remember. They don't show you calculus the first year. They don't show you geometry the first year. They don't show you statistical evidence of the pi, or you see what I mean? No, the first thing that they show you is 1 plus 1. Then after that, then 2 divided by 2, then 2 divided by 3 equals what number, right? You guys remember, right? 2 times x equals 3. See what I mean? So we have to simplify the process as much as possible, Shrikant, to be able to go ahead and do that. Now, in my humble opinion, this is why I think that futures is one of the best markets, because what happens is you don't have to trade 8 different markets at the same time. So even if you have 20 million different indicators on the chart, and you guys just look for like trading desks, Google it so you guys can see it. Maybe I'll have you guys put it on the video. Google trading desk and you guys see like 20 billion different monitors and stuff like that. Even if you're just trading futures, even if instead of trading Apple every day, or instead of 20 million different stocks, you're just trading the Euro USD every day, instead of 20 million different Forex pairs, in futures, you can trade one market every single day. You can't trade Apple every day. You can't trade the same most times. I think in Forex, you can't generally, some of you guys trade Forex, go ahead and leave me to the comments for me. But I think most of the time, I'm not going to generalize in Forex. I already got in trouble with doing that. So I think in Forex, you generally can't trade, or most people don't trade one market at the same time. So the thing that you have to do, Shrikant, is specialize, right? You literally have to remove all the distractions, right? So you're not multitasking. You're not paying attention to 2 different indicators. At the end of the day, the indicators calculate the information in the past of the price. So really, the only thing you really need is the price. So then I would recommend you start in futures for that reason. Once you start in futures, you choose one market. I generally teach in the S&P 500. The S&P 500 is the futures, is the derivative of the actual S&P 500 stock exchange, the index. So the S&P 500 is the stocks of the 500 biggest capitalization, let's say the biggest public companies in the world. Let's just put it like that, even though it's a little bit different, just so you guys can understand. So you have the S&P 500, the stock exchange with the 500 stocks. What moves the stock exchange are the individual stocks of the 500 companies. And then you have the derivative, which is the future, which is connected to the index, right? So what moves the actual futures is the index, but you don't have to pay attention to all the stocks. You just look at the index. So once you specialize and you pay attention to one thing, what can happen is you can simplify the process. You can simplify in your brain the process that you go through to be able to learn properly, right? And then once you simplify that, then you can focus on the things that's more important, which is the emotions. Now, one of the things that most people want you to believe is that you're going to pay for some software or some like magical system that's just going to make you $1 million tomorrow. Unfortunately, this business doesn't work that way. If it was that easy, everybody would be a professional trader. Am I right? So one of the things that you guys have to know is the reason why you have to simplify the process so much is the problem with the emotions. If you guys have ever, for example, been into a fight or you're driving, if you guys are one of those aggressive drivers, or your mom calls, most of us have had the situation where, you know, our mom kind of annoys us a little bit and we yell at her, maybe when we're young, not all of you, or your sister or a girlfriend or a boyfriend or a husband or a wife, whatever, right? So if you guys remember, there are situations where you get so kind of heated that at the end of the day, you end up saying something that's really, really hurtful that we shouldn't have ended up saying. And so what happens in those circumstances is there's a nerve that's connected from the heart to the brain that's called the vagus nerve. There are actually more connections from the heart to the brain than from the brain to the heart, which means that there's a careful analytical process that happens that when we are afraid to, like, the way that I can explain it to you is when we're in the middle of the jungle or back, you know, grazing, and there's a buffalo running straight towards us and we're gonna die, we're in that fight or flight response, right? We don't think, we just react. It's the same thing in trading. When you're literally scared to lose everything that you have in one trade because you can lose more in one day than you make in a month, you're literally just not going to make the right decision just like that. Oh yeah, of course, you know, go here, whatever. If it's that easy, everybody would be a millionaire trader. So the reason why we really have to simplify the entire process, Shrikant, is because you have a situation where this is just plain, you know, if you guys want to look up psychology and look this up, the vagus nerve, it was in a book, I forgot the name of it. Maybe I'll put it in the comments, in the description. But this is a proven fact, and you guys can see in your own lives that when you're literally heated and you're angry, you say things that you shouldn't, or you do things that you shouldn't. And so what we have to do is we have to simplify, we have to dumb down literally the process so much that we literally have the capacity to help or start controlling our emotions rather than just reacting all the time. That's why I always say that women are better traders than men, because women have a situation where all of their lives they've had to manage their emotions. There's a situation where they have a lot more experience in that arena rather than men. And because, you know, men, we're the machos, right? Like we're emotions, like, you know what I mean? And when we're going to learn how to trade, if you guys want your freedom and you want to be able to live around the world and make a lot of money and you know, whatever it is your goal, obviously for me, it's not about making $1 million. It's about just having enough money to not worry about money. Most of you guys don't realize that when it comes to day trading, you don't have to make $1 million. You can literally just move to Thailand and you only have to make $300-400 a month to be able to live well, right? Massages every day for $3. A massage, like, it's amazing, right? Even here in Colombia, the dollar right now is so high. I'm recording this video the 8th of April 2019, just before my birthday, and there's a situation where the dollar is so high, you literally can do whatever you want around the world and you can live a great life. This is why, you know, we're going to walk into a crisis soon. And if you guys are going to want to learn how to trade, it's going to be super important. No matter what kind of business you own or have, or what kind of job you have, at the end of the day, there's a crisis coming. We've had the expansion, the economic expansion, the longest in history of the U.S. and the world. And it's not going to last forever, right? So if you guys are able to learn how to trade now and you're able to do the right things when this crisis comes, there's going to be situations where you guys are going to have the opportunity, not the guarantee, to be able to make more money than you have ever dreamed of. And when other people are losing their jobs, when businesses are closing, you guys are going to be able to do well, because you're not going to be able to sell stuff on eBay when the economy goes to the tank. You're not going to be able to keep your job because a lot of people are going to be fired, right? If you guys remember 2008, 2009. So Definitely something to consider, Shrikant. Simplify the process as much as you can. That's the absolute biggest thing for me. For me, it doesn't matter at the end of the day what markets you choose to trade or what indicators you use. If you really think about this analytically, Shrikant, if there are so many traders in the world, millions of traders that make money in however many different markets around the world, that use so many different indicators that they combine them in different ways, because you can have two traders that actually use the same indicator that are programmed a different way. What's the bottom line? Like, how are all these guys making money if they're all trading money differently, if they're all doing it in a different way? Well, all the indicators calculate the information in the price. So the goal is not the indicators, it's the price. And they know how to control their emotions. That really is the key to becoming a successful trader. So that's really about it, Shrikant. I think that was an amazing question. I think most of us think that this needs to be fancy, like there's some magic bullet or magic indicator or magic system out there. No, at the end of the day, you guys just need to control yourselves, learn how to become self-aware of your emotions. One of the things you can do, Shrikant, and this is an amazing video, because I think this is a really long video, but it's great information. When you're trading, Shrikant, one of the things that you should do is, and this is something from Nikolai, one of the master traders at DTA, you put an alarm on your phone. And when you're trading, when the alarm goes off, ask yourself how you feel. Are you afraid? Are you tired? Are you exhausted? You know, most traders in the beginning are not able to put, I'll explain it to you this way. There's a situation where newer traders that I have trained have gotten into a situation where after 30 minutes they start losing a lot of money. They get tired, right? So you need to know that about yourself. If you're really in tune with how you feel, you can identify that and say, okay, I'm not going to trade. I'm not going to place any positions after 30 minutes. Then over time, you build your capacity, your resistance to being able to trade more. So I think that's an amazing, amazing question, Shrikant. I hope I answered it for you. I think it was pretty thorough. Let me know if you guys have any other questions. Don't forget to #AskMarcello. And don't forget to subscribe. We'll see you in the next video.